So hopefully that tab and play along part was helpful. If you want to download the tab, you can find a link to that in the description, where you can download it both in Guitar Pro format and in PDF format. And in this part of the video, I want to elaborate on certain aspects of the song. So starting with the verse, or the intro, whatever you want to call it, you can note that we have these muted strums with this really cool effect. And what I did to reproduce this effect, I don't know if it's correct or not, but I used the reverse delay on the line 6 DL4, and I connected that only to the left speaker, while the right speaker is without the delay. But then I actually did some post-processing, where I took the amp with the delay and shifted it a bit back in time so it matches the timing of the dry amp. And that might sound a bit uninspiring, because maybe you just want to play along to the song directly without any post-processing, but I think it will sound kind of good if you do just that as well, because then it will sound like this. So yeah, please let me know if you think that sounded good too, or if you think that that's post-processing where you shift the timing is necessary or not. And another thing I want to elaborate on in this part is the strumming pattern. I won't go through it in detail, because that will just be more confusing than if you just look at the tab in the beginning of this video. But what I will elaborate on is, the timing of these double fast strums, because I found it kind of hard to get the timing of those right. But what I found is that before those you do 4 down up strums, so like that, and then you do those strums, so, or the whole thing. So yeah, hopefully that helps if you struggle to find that timing too. And the next thing I like to address is, the chorus, which has a really straightforward strumming pattern with a classic down, 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 up strum. So, and then you do 2 down strums on the next chord. And that is the old pattern, But in the tab I wrote that you do, muted down up strums, but when you switch the chords, but you don't really need to be that picky about that. You can do muted strings, or you can do open strings, or you can play notes from the chords when you do the switch. So I wouldn't be too picky about that, but just do what feels natural. I think I do a combination of open strings and muted strings, but I didn't want to write that down in the tab, because then I feel like it would get overly complicated. So I just wanted to address that. And finally we get to the bridge, and the first thing I did there was to roll down the volume of the guitar, because I think that part is really quiet and also has a really clean sound, And I also added the malumbra pedal to get some nice vibrato effects. And when I tried to learn that pattern for the song, I slowed it down and tried to write it down note for note what I could hear. But what I ended up with was something that felt really complicated to play, especially since I feel like the speed that John plays it in is really, really fast. So what I did was to take the core elements of that riffs, or the core notes, but then transform it into a pattern that I feel felt more natural for me to play with. So then I ended up with So I'm really curious if you agree with that compromise, or if you think that it is too far away from the original song. So yeah, that is the lesson, and I should end by saying that on my Patreon page I have posted pictures for all the pedals and the settings and the amp settings used for this song, in case you're interested in that, because I want to show my gratitude to the people that are supporting me on Patreon. I think it's kind of cool that some people actually do that, but by no means do you have to do that. If you just trigger the algorithm, like I always say, with the like buttons and comments, that also helps out tremendously. So yeah, and it also helps out a lot with all the suggestions that I have been getting, because this lesson was a suggestion that I got. So yeah, please let me know about further requests, and I'll see you in the next video.